All right, so this video, I want to go through a couple things that are misinterpreted, mechanics-wise, and just kind of the basic steps of the swing from the load all the way to finish, balance, and a lot of the in-betweens. So when we start with young kids, we get a lot of guys that when they load, all right, their load is either an up and down, where they're not working aggressively towards the pitcher, or it's just something that's a timing mechanism. Now, when you watch major league guys, you can break down video, slow motion, fast motion, you see their hip and their load working aggressively out towards the mound, like 6 to 8 inches. All right, you never see any of those major league guys where they're strictly up and down, or something where they're strictly just turning and rotating. That is very important to your power aspects, driving the baseball. I always use the reference of pitching, right? We don't pitch like up, down, and then try and fire. We come up, we come down, but we drive off of our backside, right? It's the same with hitting. Now, when we go to the baseball, if we're up and down, now we become rotational to try to get to the ball, right? And we got to generate something to have something working through the ball as far as energy, kinetic energy working through the baseball and able to drive it. So a couple of big drills that I do to start, huge without a bat, right? We break it down to hands on hips, okay? The kid working back to forward, but making sure that he's working out 6 to 8 inches towards the pitcher, towards the target, towards the baseball, right? And not coming up, down, and then forcing the swing into being rotational. So first drill is just here, creating a load, in, out, and then starting back, firing that backside, firing the hips, and going forward. It's not where our weight's here, where we're kind of spoked, that foot's on an island, and then we're rotating. The hip travels with that front side, but my chin stays in the middle of my body. So here's 5 of them. Okay, so you can kind of see how I'm generating off my front hip, but I'm still driving kinetically this way versus when I land spinning, the old squish the bug term, which we don't like to use. We want to get off that backside. You're going to see the knee go first, which is going to drive the hip, and then the foot will follow getting up to that toe. Second one that we do is we just give a different perspective on what we're thinking about. So when we're hands on hips, we're thinking drive the hip forward. Now we go hands on our shoulders. All right, same drill, same concept, but now our turn is making sure that our shoulders are staying here. You see so many young kids when they go to the ball, pulling off ground balls, heavy pull side, because when they go to the ball, they lead with their hands, right? We lead with our hands. Now our bat path forces us to be out front, coming around the ball, versus if my lower half, my hips go first, my hands stay back, I can stay inside the ball, but I can also read different pitches. I'm not committing to a fastball, and now it's a curveball, and now I'm out front and I have nothing left. If we commit our swing with our lower half, my hands aren't committed, it gives me time to read the pitch, right? And I can still stay back and drive the ball hard wherever it's pitched. So second drill looks like this. Same thing, same concept, but now we're just focusing on keeping those shoulders square and not opening up like yay. Okay, so here, good versus bad. All right. Okay, next drill we do, we just put them together. So we hold our bat, okay, thumb, squeeze, squeeze here. All right, holding our bat, nothing to hold, you know, trying to keep it simple to start, piece by piece. So putting them all together, we're thinking about our hip going forward, we're thinking about keeping our shoulders closed, and now we're just imagining like we have a bat in our hands moving forward. So it looks like this. Here, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and this should be, in games, this should be the take that you're getting out of guys when they're going to the ball, right? We want attitude and thought process to be yes, 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 right? It doesn't matter what pitch that guy's pitching. It doesn't matter the count. We are thinking, I'm going until we decide that we don't like that pitch, right? If we get the pitch that we want, we're in the box to be aggressive. And when we go to the ball, we want to be thinking, I'm going, right, no matter what, until we read that it's a ball, right? Because the higher that we go, higher level that we play at, we're not going to be able to wait until we see the ball to decide if I'm going to swing or not. It's going to be, I'm going, to be able to get my barrel out front and be able to hit 90-plus fastballs. Going, slider, nope, I don't like it, haven't committed my hands. Okay, so those are the first 3 kind of dry drills that we do. Now we take the next step. Usually I have a partner hold the mat out front. Now we're just working hands to contact. So same thing, load back, making sure that we're going through, and then we would pop our knuckles on the mat out front. We want a nice 90-degree here, a little bit of bend here. Again, a lot of kids, they think contact is out here, right? But if I hit contact out in front with both my arms extended, now getting through the baseball, I don't have much left, right? I have a little flick of my wrists, and then I have basically rotation to get through the baseball, which will result in a lot of pull side ground balls. All right, so we like to see knocking knuckles that you knock on a door with. We like to see those lined up. That's gonna keep us slotted here and get our barrel on plane, versus if we're kind of choking the bat, our plane's gonna be a little bit more steep, right? We're gonna be in and out of the zone very quickly, right? And once we get to contact, now we're gonna be forced to rotate. That top hand's gonna almost come over our bottom hand every time, which is gonna result in topspin ground balls. So knocking knuckles here, working to contact, okay? 90-degree, little bit of bend, we're hitting it deep. Now this gives us the opportunity to work through the baseball this way, get that extension. All right, so the drill is just here, same thing, just taking it again, next step. So load, turn, and then you'd be popping on the mat. Now partner, whoever has the mat, you can do it against a wall, whatever you want to do, but work different spots. You can kind of see how I have 3 different balls laid out here. That's where we imagine where our contact points are. So when we do T drills, inside, down the middle, outside, that's where the T should be, depending on what we're working on. Okay, so inside pitch, right, we're gonna get our hands out a little bit more, making sure that we're staying inside of it still not coming around the ball, staying tight, staying through, middle, right, probably just off of our front foot, right, staying behind the baseball, always want our hands leading our barrel, not letting our barrel get out in front, because if we do, again, rotational coming off the ball. And lastly, outside, we want to hit it a little bit deeper. I always have talks with my guys too. We don't want to hit an outside pitch here, right? Again, extended, we don't have anything left to work through the baseball. We're going to be forced to rotate off of it to try and generate some power. We want to hit that one deep, toe, knee, belly button, chin, all working in the direction of where the baseball is supposed to be coming off my bat. So if I'm hitting an away pitch, right, we don't want our foot and our knee, but our shoulder working towards third base, right? We want everything working behind, and then extension is working out towards right field. Nolan Arenado is a great guy to watch, okay? When he hits the outside pitch, he stays here, his chin stays tucked in that shoulder, and it's like everything is working towards right field, okay? So after we do that, then we put some type of like a lighter bat. What we use, it's called the speed bat. It's a lightweight, almost like a wiffle ball bat, to let the kids work on their mechanics without sacrificing something that's a little bit heavier. Because when you get into working on these drills, we want you to be able to do 50, 100, 200 at a time, if possible, but not sacrifice mechanics with getting tired, right? If you come out here and you do 300 swings off the tee, you're gonna get tired using your regular bat. Mechanics are gonna slouch, fail, right? We're gonna get tired, so we're gonna lose some things. If we use something a little bit lighter to work on our drills, right, forces our mind to stay in tune, but we're not gonna get tired, right? Our arms aren't gonna get tired, we're not gonna get lackadaisical. We're gonna continue to work hard and keep our mechanics just because we're using something lighter to train our brain to do what we're supposed to be doing, okay? So next one, again, we'd have a guy with a mat out here, put the speed bat in his hands, same thing, everything working together, and now we're just working to contact. So we did our load turn, keeping our shoulders square, putting them together, working to contact. Now we're just putting a bat in the hands of our guy, and he's working here and working to contact, all right? And when he hits contact, he'd be snapping, boom, he'd be popping a mat, right? And then holding that position, making sure head over the back knee. Now is when we want that stiff front leg hitting against it, everything's driving against it, not over top of it, right? We don't want our weight completely back either. We want to be working against that front leg, working energy forward, but not getting out over that front side, hitting against it, all right? So work different spots again, working load, boom, popping on the mat, come back, reset. Same thing, working on the mat, popping the mat out front, right, and snapping. Now we want contact to be in our wrists, right? A lot of guys here, we think we gotta push, use our arms, right? Our snap on contact is gonna directly affect our extension, right? Hands lead, barrels behind, we snap, and now that works right out front, working through extension versus if I'm here, okay? Now I'm working across, which is what we don't want. We want to be hands in front of the baseball, hands in front of our barrel, snap, and now working through extension, okay? Last one that we do, guy holding the mat's gonna stand off to the side. He's gonna have it about right here. Again, we're gonna work to contact. He's gonna flip the mat, and then we're just gonna work on finishing our swing. So it's gonna be here, boom, finish, nice and balanced. Okay, same thing here, nice and balanced. Now, we start with these full swings, probably 50, 60%, right? We want guys to be feeling out what they're doing. We put a lot of different things into different steps, all right? So when we go fast, it shouldn't just be cranking it back up and going 100% because we're gonna forget everything that we just worked on, all right? Until it's muscle memory, it's gonna take time, it's gonna take reps, so we wanna start slow. So feeling out everything. Load my hip, keeping my shoulders closed, hands leaning my barrel, contact extension, finishing against that firm front leg. All right, once we get comfortable with that, ramp it up to 75%, a little bit faster, all right? And I've done these drills millions of times, so I can take it through as slow or as quickly as I want. You're gonna see a lot of young guys, they struggle to slow it down. When you tell them to go slow, they're gonna work here, and they're still gonna work through relatively quickly because it's what they're comfortable with, all right? Until guys get comfortable with the different pieces, they're gonna go fast. That's why we wanna break it down. So nice and slow. Here, load, come back, and finish, okay? Last thing that we like to see, the two biggest things that I see with young kids and where they struggle with their swing are one, the first one we talked about, the load, all right? We're becoming just a timing mechanism versus an aggressive trigger that we want working aggressively towards the pitcher. So that's number one, that aggressive load. Number two is bat path, right? I see a lot of guys where their bat path is steep. They work here, they work top down, right? As kids, when we were younger, we were always taught, stay on top, stay on top, stay on top. And that kind of forms into more of a chop. But if we have a ball that's coming in the zone, our job is to try and match that plane, right? I'm not a big proponent of launch angle because I think it's very misinterpreted. I think a lot of people think, okay, launch angle, I got to dip and I got to work up and through. The up and through part is correct, but we have to stay on top to a certain point, and that's where